Welcome to Fantasy Sports Today here on SportsGrid. I'm Craig Mish along with George Kurtz as we get you ready for another week in fantasy football. I got a win under my belt. I'm pumped up, fired up for the week ahead. Maybe I could actually win 2 in a row. I mean, is that a lot to ask these days? I'm not sure. George, welcome back. It's good to see you. I know I was off last week. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe I need to take more time off from SportsGrid in order to win some games. Yeah, that's not going to fly here. I don't have a feeling. We've already done that enough. But George, great to be with you here. Injuries, of course, a lot to get to. Some pickups and a new quarterback, of course, which we'll get to as well in the National Football League. It should be a lot of fun. And again, I'm hoping for that second win.
Absolutely. I know one of my undefeated teams bit the dust last week. They lost here. So we're getting into week 6 now, right? You got to start making some moves here. Hopefully you're better than 1-4. Because 1-4 means you have to win again, right? You got to keep winning here. You probably got to win more than 2 weeks in a row. I went 3-4 weeks in order to get back in it here. If you're doing better than that, then you're in okay shape there. But you already said it, Greg. Injuries are definitely, I guess they're probably the story of every season, but it does seem to be hitting heavier this year than most. First, it was the quarterbacks and the wide receivers. Now the running backs are getting hit.
Yeah, and the Chargers this weekend are in Miami, and I don't think anybody knows who's really going to be running the ball for them. I'm constantly checking my phone here for updates throughout our shows to keep you guys updated. But let's start with that. The Chargers, Omari and Hampton. Wow, the rookie running back class George and I said was going to be so good. Well, I don't know. Did we say that? I don't know. Did we say that at the beginning of the season? I mean, I have RJ Harvey. We liked it, right? It wasn't bad. Caleb Johnson, he's going to be a star. Hasn't played at all. Omari and Hampton doesn't play. I don't know. Omari and Hampton's out. He's on the IR. It could be Kamani Vidal. It could be Haskins. It could be LaDainian Tomlinson at this point. Nobody really knows who's going to be running the ball for the Chargers. The Bengals, though, George, they make the move of the week. They add Joe Flacco to the mix. You know Joe Flacco, the guy who went to Green Bay a couple of weeks ago and beat the Packers. George, did they do this for 1 week or something here? I don't get this move at all. With all of the other backup quarterbacks in the NFL, you went out and got a guy that is 1 tackle away from, just being out for the year. Like, I mean, the guy can't move. I mean, yeah, he's going to throw to Chase more. That's what they say. And Higgins, and he'll get the ball downfield. I'm stunned. Where was Winston? Where was Russell Wilson? Where were, Minshew? Some of these other potential backups. Joe Flacco?
Yeah, we're in agreement here. I have no explanation for you. Is he better than Browning? Okay, that's not saying much. You and I might be better than Browning at this point. I don't know what happened to Browning. He was serviceable as Burrow's injury replacement at one point. He was not this year. I think he'll be better. I think Chase Brown, actually, Craig, in PPR leagues or half PPR leagues will have more value because Flacco is also, 40, whatever. He doesn't want to get hit anymore. And behind that offensive line, he's going to get hit. He's going to want to get rid of the football. So I think there'll be checkdowns to Brown there. So that could make him a little bit more valuable than he's been. He's been one of the biggest fantasy busts of the season so far. But sure, absolutely. I guess Brown, Chase will get more plays. T will get more plays, sure. But I don't see a big uptick here. And like you, how do you not make that call for the Giants? And they said they didn't even call them. Oh, no, we want a 3rd-round pick. What did the Giants outprice themselves? They didn't even call them. You really wanted Flacco? Really? Flacco? I don't like this move. He's a statue. He's going to get killed.
Yeah, I don't understand it at all. And to think that this was the answer after thinking it through. I mean, NFL teams, this is not something, George, that's on a whim. They knew they had Jake Browning struggling, and it took a couple of weeks for them to land on him. I don't know about this move at all. All right. It looks like Jaylen Warren is back for the Steelers this week. He was injured, of course, a couple of weeks ago. That's really good news. But he was off to a good start. But then Kenneth Gainwell played for him in London. Played so well that some people thought that Gainwell could steal some time. I still think that could happen. So I'm not completely sold on that. And the 49ers, as we're doing this show, now again, our show airs throughout the weekend here on SportsGrid. Whenever you're watching, as of us doing this show right now, we're not clear as to who is the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, George. And I mean, I think we would all agree that Brock Purdy is supposed to be the better quarterback this season and supposed to be the better quarterback for the Niners. But we dusted off Mac Jones after some years of irrelevance. And I think, is it fair to say, George, at the very least, what Mac Jones has done is earned a starting spot on a 1-year type deal next year for another team, I kind of think that's what's going to happen from this.
I think, and I agree with you about Mac Jones, by the way. Yeah, I think Craig, he might get more than a 1-year deal if this keeps up, right? I don't know how many more games he's going to play. This could be the last week, and we're not even sure about this week. But yeah, I think he's going to earn that sort of on-third spot. He's going on sort of the Baker Mayfield path, right? It didn't work out for you here, there. Then you finally hit a place where it does work out for you, and you'll get a contract someplace else. So I think he's earned at least a 1-year deal, maybe even something better here. We know there aren't 32 starting NFL quarterbacks here. As for this week, I think if Mac Jones was completely healthy, if he didn't have the knee injury, he has got a knee injury himself, right? We saw that all the times he's getting that knee twisted here. I don't think there's any doubt he would play this week, right? He'd be the guy. I think because of that injury, maybe they both end up playing here, where it's Mac Jones to start, but Purdy can play. He's the backup. But I think the perfect world, San Fran would like to keep Purdy out another week. As you said, as of this show, we're still waiting for the Friday practice report. Purdy did not practice on Thursday, but he did do some conditioning work. So we'll see if he does, get some kind of practice in today. Because if he doesn't practice today, I don't see him playing Sunday unless Mac Jones does get hurt.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that's a very fair take from George. You can't miss practice all week and expect to play. I mean, who could the 49ers turn to as a third-string quarterback? I mean, maybe they were the ones that should have gotten Joe Flacco. I don't know. All right, Thursday Night Football was what we've seen for the last week in the NFL. Expect the unexpected. The 49ers go into the Rams' house and win outright. Tennessee goes to Arizona and wins outright. New England goes to Buffalo and wins outright. Now, this was a home game for the Giants. That's true, George, but I feel like this is the NFL script as to what they want. Now, the books are making all the money, unfortunately, on this. That's just the way it's going to be. But we're seeing some crazy results, George, and the Eagles can't get out of their own way in a half. I don't know which half it is every week, but it's one half they play good and one half they can't play. This week, it was the second half. Last week, actually, it was the second half. A couple of weeks ago against the Rams, it was the first half. So I want to give credit to the Giants here, and I do, and I should, because, look, they played a really good football game. But the Eagles got to play a lot better. I don't know what's going on.
I'm not so sure the Eagles know what's going on. Maybe it's they did lose Kellen Moore. He was their OC, right? He's now the head coach of New Orleans, so maybe that's been a problem. Barkley doesn't. I mean, Craig Barkley was 2,000-yard rusher last year. He can't rush for 20 yards right now. The offensive line's not playing well. We all know the problems it hurts in the passing game, although it was solid last night. A.J. Brown did have 6 catches for 80 yards. Devonta Smith had some yards as well. So it's weird for a team. It's a veteran team. You don't expect this, right? You don't, because you could look at it this way. They should have lost to the Rams, all right? They could have lost to the Cowboys if Sanders doesn't fumble here. So they should be very happy to be 4-2. That being said, they'll be fine. All right. I'm not really all that worried about the Eagles. This could just be a part of the season where, no one's going 17-0. The teams do run into doldrums and stuff like that. That could be what the Eagles go through right now. And in my mind, Craig, we don't even see true NFL football until about halfway through the season. They don't, there's no pads in camp anymore. So it takes a little while for football really to be football. And for my mind, it's always about halfway through the season here. Eagles will be fine, but right now it's been a struggle. And Jackson Dart, take care of you. You're fun to watch, young man, but take care of yourself. You're not going to be in this league for long, buddy, because you're going to get killed.
I know. I mean, Ray, he catches the ball. He looks to the left, looks to the right. He just runs right up the middle. It's like, I mean, at some point, Sam is here. This is what Sam, didn't I talk about this with Kevin on the air? I'm like, this is how the Giants are going to win. If they don't have a spy on this guy, he's just going to run up the middle, and if they do, they lose. Can we show Cam Scattaboo? Thank you. Let's do that. We got to give credit to this guy. George, is he an RB1 the rest of the season? Yes or no? RB1.
No, not in a 10-team league, 12 teams in the league. I'm going to say no.
Okay. We'll be back with more next.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
Are we going to sit here today and acknowledge that the Indianapolis Colts right now are the best team in the AFC?
They are right now.
They can run the football with Taylor. They got a competent quarterback the way he's playing right now in Daniel Jones. They are well coached.
They never punt.
They never punt.
They never punt.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
I told you Vladimir Guerrero would hit a home run. He hits a home run on his first pitch. 2-run shot, 2-0 Jays. And I gave you Suarez earlier. I'm telling you, Scott, Contreras last night, Story the other night. Bro, every night I've been hitting these home run props. And not the easy Ohtani ones at old plus 190. These are plus 450s, baby.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Florida State put up 498 rushing yards on this defense, 8 rushing touchdowns, and they almost averaged 10 yards per carry.
Tough scene.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. It should be 60 to 7.
Yeah. Give me the 7.
I just gave you the 7.
Exactly. And
are you
the
on this?
Point. I'm thinking field goal and maybe a
but
safety.
But are you on
Joe.
this? This is
Over
your best
3.5.
Okay.
Didn't you read the screen?
I
What are you not
could
paying
barely
attention
read
to the show?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Welcome back to Fantasy Sports Today here on SportsGrid. You want to talk about pain? You want to talk about just being in pain, watching a player go off in fantasy football? Look no further to this guy on my... Is he on my left, George, or is he on my right? What would you say, Sam? Is he on my left or my right? Which one? He's on my left, right here? Right there? Oh, right there. There he is! Hello, Rico! Uncle Rico, he was on the Dallas. Why? Oh my gosh! You even have a Dallas Cowboys. Look, look. Sam even screwed up and put him on the Cowboys there to make it worse. How bad is that? Right?
They didn't want to pay him.
He's on
Dallas
Carolina. He's on. Put that up again, Sam. It's okay. We all make mistakes. It's fine. But you understand that. Yeah, but it says Dallas Cowboys on the graphic. Anyway, look, Sam is awesome. I love Sam, okay? But that's I had no idea, by the way, that was going to happen. How did the Cowboys not see any value, George and Rico? Is this the same team that had Ezekiel Elliott last year? I'm just checking. Is this the same team?
They didn't want to pay him. All right, Jerry Jones does not.
Rico?
Because he got bit by Zeke, right? He paid Zeke, and that didn't work out. So now that's what Jerry Jones does, the exact opposite. Now he doesn't want to pay a running back anymore. That's how they ended up with Javonte Williams. Same thing. They got him for the cheap. They didn't want to pay.
He's actually been okay. He's been okay.
He's been very good. He's been very good. Can't complain. But the problem with Rico this week is now as we got to check the reports again. But Chubba Wubba, he might be coming back as well.
He's out.
Did they say he's out? Okay, then we will get Uncle Rico going against the Cowboys. Which, by the way, unless the game script says that the Cowboys are scoring points and they can't be stopped again. He should do very well. That Cowboy run defense has not been good at all. All right, so I think Rico, if he's not an RB1 this week, we'll be really close to it. So I said Cowboys run defense has not been good. The only thing you're worried about is game script there. If the Cowboys, score 14, 21 points in the first quarter and a half, well, then Uncle Rico is going to end up being a distant uncle.
Miami's defense was so bad last week, and that definitely contributed to it. So let's keep it real there. Although the Chargers this week, everyone's like salivating over those guys. I'm not sure that there's an option. Okay, so the Saints got Rashid Shaheed more involved in the offense, but, four catches, 5 targets. I saw him being picked up a lot this week, so this is fair to discuss. But a lot of it, George, was on one play.
Yes.
And I think you may be able to say that about a lot of players in the NFL, honestly. So do you see Shaheed being someone that's viable? If I'm not mistaken, I think last year before he got hurt for about 4 or 5 weeks, he was playable every week.
It's one of those things, and it's funny because I would say, if you didn't say it, I was going to say it. All right. Oh, but it came on one play. All right. And it did. He had a 70-yard touchdown reception. And I hate that when people say that because, that play counts. And this is somebody who is really designed for the big play. So like Jameson Williams with Detroit, he doesn't hit the big play. He's not going to get volume. He needs to hit that big play to really pay off here. That being said, you're playing New England this week. Good defense. Gonzalez might be playing in this game. We'll have to see there as well. So I'm going to. I don't mind you picking him up, but I think he's more of a listen. If you had Collins on your team, Jefferson, Addison, and you need a replacement, fine. I get it. Those guys are on bye. You go for what's ever great, best on the waiver wire, and he might be what's best on your waiver wire. But he won't be a week in, week out start for me. And like I said, last week was great. Giants have a poor secondary. We'll see what this week brings, right? But he'll need that. He'll probably need that big play or touchdown dealer.
Ryan Flournoy was the star of the Dallas Cowboys wide receiving core last week. I did not think this would be the name that we're bringing up on the show this week, George. Knowing that you're a big Cowboys fan, I'm going to have to lean on you here a little bit. Now, I did get my fair share of watching all the games on Sunday. He had 6 catches, 114 yards on 9 targets. Look, I mean, Pickens is still very heavily involved in the offense. And so when you're picking a player like this up, the question becomes, is this for a week? Is this for 2 until Lamb comes back? Or can the Cowboys go 3 wide a little bit and play a kid like this? I don't know. You tell me. I got to lean on you for this one.
Listen, if anybody started Flournoy last week in a 10-12 team league, God bless you. All right, because that was a shot in the dark. No one saw that coming. All right, you mentioned Pickens is your number 1, Ferguson's your number 2, and everybody assumed that'd be Tolbert. And Tolbert, by the way, was the wide receiver 2 there, and he was on the field for 91% of the snaps. All right, so he was there, but he caught nothing. I mean, that should tell you something. I mean, it wasn't like, Sauce was on him. Sauce was covering Pickens. So strange game that Tolbert was a 0, and Flournoy was the guy, the number 2, really the number 3 target after Pickens. Actually, the number 2 at the Ferguson. Ferguson was 1. Pickens was covered by Gardner. So he was looking for Flournoy. I do think that happens again this week. I just think that Flournoy might be a better receiver than Tolbert. Tolbert's been a bust for the Cowboys. Second round pick a few years back. This hasn't worked out. But, I didn't see that coming. I don't think anybody saw that coming, that Dak would have eyes for Flournoy and be looking for him. Maybe it was a good matchup there. All right. But we'll see this week. But if I had a choice, Flournoy or Tolbert, that's not even a contest there. I'll take Flournoy and see what happens.
Yeah, Jimmy Graham on Seattle, I think probably had a few games at tight end. I'm trying to think, George, in the Russell Wilson era and even before, have the Seahawks really ever featured a tight end? A.J. Barner had 2 touchdowns this past week on 7 catches. I saw him being grabbed a ton in all the leagues that I'm playing in. But doesn't it feel like, George, there's just some teams where if you go back in your mind, you're like, oh, I can name tight ends on that team. I'm having a hard time on Seattle.
I think that's fair. I'm doing the same thing in my head now. Nothing comes to mind.
I can't.
Offhand here. Listen, not all teams are featured of a tight end. It's a little unusual because tight ends can be extremely valuable. They generally mismatches for the defense, assuming you get a good one. So it is unusual, but they have not been able to work one here. Now, once again, maybe you got T.J. Hockenson on bye here. You want to go for a Barner? I don't have an issue with it. We got to get somebody. We know tight ends are not deep. There are a lot of name tight ends that are out there. I mean, Njoku keeps being bounced off the waiver wire in a couple of leagues that I play in here. People believe in Gabriel. They don't believe in Gabriel. They move on here. Fannin, same thing with Cleveland. So there are other tight ends as well that we don't expect here. But once again, I think most of these tight ends outside of your top guys are just dartboard throws week in, week out. Who's going to get the touchdown? Tongs on San Francisco is another big play this week, right? Same theory there.
No, I mean, that guy's actually done very well, though. Like every week. Like there's like legit reason to play that guy. Like he's been fantastic. We didn't hit on a couple. There's really only 1 or 2 more that we need to do, but we got to take a break. So we'll do that when we come back. You're watching Fantasy Sports Today here on SportsGrid. I'm Craig Mish along with George Kurtz. Don't forget, final decisions to be made each and every Sunday morning right here on SportsGrid. Joe Pisapia and Matt Stryker. We'll be right back.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
Are we going to sit here today and acknowledge that the Indianapolis Colts right now are the best team in the AFC?
They are right now.
They can run the football with Taylor. They got a competent quarterback, the way he's playing right now, in Daniel Jones. They are well coached.
They never punt.
They never punt.
They never punt.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
I told you Vladimir Guerrero would hit a home run. He hits a home run on his first pitch. 2-run shot, 2-0 Jays. And I gave you Suarez earlier. I'm telling you, Scott, Contreras last night, Story the other night, bro, every night I've been hitting these home run props. And not the easy Ohtani ones at old plus 190. Right. These are plus 450s, baby.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Florida State put up 498 rushing yards on this defense, 8 rushing touchdowns, and they almost averaged 10 yards per carry.
Tough scene.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. It should be 60 to 7.
Yeah. Give me the 7.
I just gave you the 7.
Exactly. And
are
miss
you
the extra
on this?
point. I'm thinking field goal and maybe a
But
safety.
are you on
Joe.
this? This is
Over
your best
3.5.
bet? Okay.
Didn't you read the screen?
I
What are you not
could
paying
barely
attention
read
to the show?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
All right, before we get to this week's games, one more transaction potentially for people out there. Probably too late, honestly, at this point. It's the running back on the Chargers, George. We got to kind of plant our flag here today on who the Chargers running back is going to be. Is it going to be Haskins? Is it going to be Vidal? Is it going to be somebody else? Hey, Harbaugh's a running guy, right? Did I say on our show last week who their running back is going to be for the season? I know who it's going to be in like 2 weeks.
Well,
Do you know
weren't
who
on
it's
the
going to
show
be?
last week, so I'm going to say no.
Yeah, it wasn't me. It was somebody else. Who did you do the show with last week? By the way, Tom Vecchia?
Yeah, Tommy V.
Yeah. I had a bar mitzvah. So the running back on the Chargers is going to be Breece Hall. That's done. They're going to trade for him. But who's going to be the next running back for the next couple of weeks?
You know, it's interesting. Breece Hall, by the way, is being rumored to be going everywhere. Everywhere.
Perfect fit, though, right? Chargers? Perfect fit.
Kansas City's another big rumor that he could be going there.
In the division? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Jets. Yeah, I see.
Right.
That could be a nice little bidding war for those two teams.
If the Jets can play it up, yeah, that would be interesting if they can play it up. Remember, Hampton's not out for the year. That's why Kansas City might have a little better play here.
Yeah, but they need 2 guys. They need 2, I think. I think they learned their lesson.
Now, as far as Haskins and Vidal, I put bids on these guys in every league, by the way. Every league I play in, these guys
Did you
are
get
available. I got Haskins more than Vidal, and I didn't. If you bid early, like some of the leagues I play in, we bid on Tuesday, and we bid every night, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So if you bid on Tuesday, did much better than if you waited. So his price went up during the week as people, I guess, thought they had more information. But then the OC came out yesterday and said, hot hand, 50-50. So we don't know what's going to happen here. I would prefer Haskins. I think he's more the goal line guy, but I'm guessing here, just guessing. So I said I went heavier on Haskins than I did Vidal. I did not break my bank at all. I think maybe at most I spent 50% of my budget here to get him. And I think the most I saw him go for was maybe a quarter budget. So people all may have been bidding for him, but they don't think he's the guy. He's not going to win you. They don't think he's going to win you a fantasy league. Is really what it came down to. And maybe that's because Hampton is going to return in a month, maybe somewhere before Thanksgiving here. So we'll see. But I would prefer Haskins. But when I say prefer, 55-45, I mean, it's that close. You want to go with Vidal? I'm not going to argue with you over which one it is here. But hey, starting running backs, they all have value.
Yeah, they do. All right. So, Kendrick Bourne's another name that's out there. it does look like Juwan Jennings is back. Bourne still could be good, but there's just no chance he's putting up the numbers that he put up last week. Some people grabbed them, some people didn't, but we don't want to do a show and not acknowledge one of the top waiver wire pickups. It was Kendrick Bourne, and remains to be seen what the offense will look like with the 49ers this week. Okay, everyone's waiting for us to do the games this week, so let's get into it. Lions and Chiefs, one of the top fantasy games of the week, one of the top totals of the week. Chiefs starting to play a little bit better. George on offense. Patrick Mahomes is dialing it back to what Patrick Mahomes used to be. This is your typical all-hands-on-deck game with the exception that you just alluded to, which is the Chiefs can't run the ball. So you don't play any of the Chiefs running back. Even though Hunt scored, I think it's a big risk. Everybody else plays in this game, correct?
Yeah, I have nothing to add there. Not starting a Chiefs running back. Everybody else goes.
Okay, so that's one player that I want to dive into and do more of that. But before we go back into the preview, let me step back here and do one more player. I forgot of another player. It is Mason Taylor, tight end of the New York Jets. He, of course, is now starting to play a little bit more, get more playing time. Do you think that this is something for the future as well?
I mean, we're still not talking about a big throwing team here. You and I just theorized that Hall will eventually be traded, and I think that certainly could be true. We've been hearing that about that's just the NFL draft. But, you know, this is a bad team. The defense is bad, so they are going to have to throw the ball more than they want to. I don't mind this. I don't, but I don't see a lot of the upside here at Mason Taylor. I just don't. So I'm not thrilled about it, but they are going to throw the ball a ton. Unless that defense starts to play better, they're going to do a lot of shootouts here. And it's garbage time touchdowns. What the Jets had last week, those count. Those count for points here, which saved Fields Day. So I don't mind it, but he's not someone I'm dying to go out and get.
Kayshon Boutte of the New England Patriots, 18 targets, 13 receptions, 208 receiving yards, and a touchdown. Is he building on something?
I don't mind going for him this week. All right, against New Orleans, I think points are going to be scored there, but I think he's another guy. Yeah, when you have your full complement of players, you're probably not using him, not going to break the bank on him.
I got a little ahead of myself starting to look at the previews of the games this week. Sorry for that, folks. We did the Lions and Chiefs quick preview there, but when we come back next, we'll dive into all of the games coming up this week. You're watching Fantasy Sports Today here on SportsGrid. Another 30 minutes to go here on the show. We'll help you win this week in fantasy football. Don't go away.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all three Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
Are we going to sit here today and acknowledge that the Indianapolis Colts right now are the best team in the AFC?
They are right now.
They can run the football with Taylor. They got a competent quarterback, the way he's playing right now, in Daniel Jones. They are well coached.
They never punt.
They never punt.
They never punt.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
I told you Vladimir Guerrero would hit a home run. He hits a home run on his first pitch. 2-run shot, 2-0 Jays. And I gave you Suarez earlier. I'm telling you, Scott. Contreras last night, Story the other night. Bro, every night I've been hitting these home run props. And not the easy Ohtani ones at old plus 190. Right. These are plus 450s, baby.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Florida State put up 498 rushing yards on this defense. 8 rushing touchdowns, and they almost averaged 10 yards per carry.
Tough scene.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. It should be 60 to 7.
Yeah. Give me the 7.
I just gave you the 7.
Exactly. And
Are
miss
you
the
on
extra
this?
point. I'm thinking field goal and maybe a
But are
safety.
you on
Joe.
this? This is
Over
your best
3.5.
bet? Okay.
Didn't you read the screen?
I
What are you
could
not paying
barely
attention
read
to
it.
the show?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Okay, in case you missed our previous segment, I did jump ahead a little bit and start previewing the game of the week, maybe in the NFL. I want to ask George his opinion on this game too, against the spread. Normally we don't do that here; we just do fantasy. But we said it's an all hands on deck game. So it's Amon-Ra St. Brown, it's Montgomery, it is Gibbs, it is Laporta, it is Kelsey, it is Mahomes, it is Goff, it is Worthy if he plays. The only players we're not playing that we've agreed on this game is the running backs of the Chiefs because it's too random. George, who do you like in this game this week? I'm not going against the Lions, I don't think, until I see them lose another game. I think I would just go ATS with them until haven't they been the best team in the NFL since week 1? After week 1.
Once again, you and I are agreeing too much because I'm right there with you. I think the Lions win the game. I think they're the better team. As you said, it's week 6. But if I was going to pick a team to come out of the NFC, and I'm the first person to tell you 3 weeks ago before the Browns game, it would have been Green Bay. But right now it's Detroit.
Yeah.
In 3 weeks I might change my mind. But right now, yeah, it's the Lions.
It has to be. They're playing the best football of anybody. They're clobbering teams. Let's not get it twisted. The Cincinnati came back last week when it didn't matter. Those points were only good for fantasy, nothing else. Okay, the 49ers take on the Buccaneers. We really, a lot unclear on the side of the 49ers, but Christian McCaffrey is a must start in every league. You mentioned Tongas. I think he's a must start at tight end. He's a tight end 1. I mean, he's not the top 2 tight end, but I think he's a top 10, top 12 guy. And then for Tampa Bay, we got the word that, I mean, what is going on with Chris Godwin? He came back for a week and now he's out again. This poor guy is just, the injuries are piling up for him through the years. Unfortunately, his second time in a row that he's going to miss time. So they have the best player in fantasy football this season in Emeka Egbuka. He's the very best player in all of fantasy. I mean, if you want to argue with me, go take a look at the numbers. There's no argument. Based on draft position, based on the number of points he has, he's the number 1 player in fantasy football. And Baker Mayfield's an MVP candidate. And dare I say, next season, George, if the season ended today, Emeka Egbuka is a top 10 pick in fantasy football. It's got to be.
He's been fantastic. I mean, wow, what he's done there. And maybe we should have known that things were going to be bad for Godwin when they drafted Egbuka, right? Because I know it turned. I mean, you just signed Godwin to a big contract. You got, Mike Evans. You had the other McMillan, right? Who's
Right.
Well, I think that's his name, right? And he got hurt, but you had him at the time. Like, why did you draft Egbuka here? But listen, maybe they just want to give another weapon to Mayfield. He was at a fantastic season, but man, it's gonna be rough this week, though, Greg. I mean, remember there no Bucky Irving either, right? I don't think he's playing this weekend either. So
he's out.
These are 2 of the biggest injured teams in the NFL, right? You already said that we do think that Jennings plays here. Pearsall probably not. I mean, a lot of injuries going on here. It should be a good game. 2 teams, the playoff teams here, but these 2 teams are really banged up here. I think I'm going to go with San Francisco. I don't feel great about it, but
I lean that way too.
Barely.
Yeah, I lean that way too. Also, Rachaad White, a must start in every fantasy league. He's not going to get you 100 yards, but the guy's going to score if they're near the goal line. So that means a pass in the end zone, pass interference. They handed it off to White every time this week near the goal line. They're going to do it again this week. All right, George, am I going to start to get some cred here for these Jacksonville Jaguars? I don't know how they're doing it, but they keep winning, going to the Super Bowl. They're on their way, 4-1 on the season. Finally, Trevor Lawrence gave us the fantasy game of his life last week, falling down, running it into the end zone. The Seahawks, George, are really good too. I don't know that their defense is that great, but I think they're going to put some points up on Jacksonville this week. Sneaky game for me. One of the more high-scoring games in fantasy this week. Jackson Smith and Jigba. Darnold, I would look to. I may look to Horton. They throw that ball to that kid a lot if you have some guys off or back up this week. And then for Jacksonville, Etienne was quiet last week. I would expect he'll have a better week. Brian Thomas there as well. And I think Lawrence is playable in this game. I know I'm partial. I have him in my leagues and everything like that. He's a back-end QB1 for me this week.
No Cooper Cup? Just kidding. It's an inside
Remember that
joke.
argument before the season? You remember that before the season? We had that on the show.
Yeah.
And Stryker was like, it's like, you're mad I'm dating your girlfriend. I'm like, what are you talking about? That was a stupid comment. Remember that?
Yes,
yeah, because I said I had Cup at one point, and he's like, you're just the guy that's mad that I have him. I'm like, no, he's done. His career's over. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd rather have I'd rather have Horton than Cup, by the way, just to let
Me too.
everybody know that. Yeah, I think that's an easier choice right now. I think a couple will have a big game here and there, but not somebody you can start week in and week out there. I think this is a sneaky high-scoring game as well. All right, I almost feel bad for Don. Had a great game last week against Mayfield and made the one mistake, and that really ended up costing them the game there. But Lawrence he was good. I mean, he fell down twice on that play. I still can't believe he scored there. I mean, how do you score? How do you fall down twice and still get to the end zone there? At first, I thought maybe are they letting him score on purpose? But no. But he played very well there. He got Brian Thomas involved, who really had not been as big a threat with Lawrence as he was last year. When Lawrence was out due to injury. But yeah, I think it's a sneaky high-scoring game as well. I'm playing the same play as you mentioned there. I don't know if I'm going to see anybody else that's worthy of a start there, but I think we're going to get to high 40s, low 50s in points.
Cowboys, generally speaking, playing in points games this season, no matter who they play. Carolina came alive last week. Earlier in the show, we mentioned it was mostly due to the running game as Rico Dowdle went off for more than 200 yards, and with Chuba Hubbard looking doubtful for this week, I mean, Dowdle is a must-start this week. Receiving-wise, even with a high-scoring game, you'd have to guess, I think, George, with Carolina, that maybe McMillan has a big week, but I don't even think they targeted him that much until the second half against Miami last week. Dallas, Javonte Williams has become a must-play. Guess who is among the top quarterbacks, if not the number one quarterback in fantasy? It is Dak Prescott. He's throwing like crazy this year, racking up the points, racking up the touchdowns. And this is even without CeeDee Lamb. I can't even imagine, George, what kind of numbers Lamb would have put up if he was healthy.
Yeah, Lamb, by the way, is still listed as questionable, but I'd be surprised if he plays. So keep that in mind. Listen, you're starting Dak, you're starting Javonte Williams. Jake Ferguson is the number one tight end in fantasy because he's not really getting the yardage, but he's getting a lot of catches. Dak is dumping a lot of passes off to him. Remember, the offensive line is banged up too, although that didn't affect the Cowboys last week in the run game there. Listen, you want to start Flower? It really depends on who you're starting him over. I'm certainly not going to recommend starting him. I do wonder if that's just a 1 week, wow, that it happened here, and we'll see what happens this week. Carolina, I'm starting McMillan against the Cowboys. So once again, you would think they're going to have to throw the ball. That Dallas going to score some points. Bryce Young, not a great pass rush from the Cowboys there. He could be a bottom quarterback 1 this week, but probably more mid-tier quarterback 2. That's probably it for me there. I don't think we're going to get as many points in this game as some are expecting, by the way. I just Dallas doesn't generally play all that well on regular grass here in Carolina through the years. So I think it's going to be more of a 24-21 game, somewhere around there.
Cardinals take on the Colts. The way I described this, George, on my Newswire show is the line I think that is maybe the most off of the week. Here's why I say that. This is the ultimate overreaction game in the NFL this week. You have the Colts playing the best game they're going to play all season. They're not going to win another game by 34. It's not going to happen this year. Just, old take, expose me if you want. They're not going to win by 34 in another game. The Cardinals are never going to lose a game the way that they did last week, with this dude flipping the ball up, running into the end zone, and then intercepting the ball and kicking it into the end zone as well. I think this is a good game for Arizona. I like Marvin Harrison in this one. I like Carter again in this one. I think Murray does well too. I think the Cardinals have a chance to beat Indianapolis this week, although I still do like, Jonathan Taylor and all of the above. Close game for me in this one, and I'm going to lean Cardinals.
I had a tough time trusting Arizona. They just find ways to lose, by the way. By the way, on that interception, by the way, if they would have done the same thing but kicked it to one of their teammates, I think the pass would have been ruled incomplete. Where was the 2 steps in a football move and completing the catch in that play? Just weird that they ruled that incomplete. It's just strange here. I just have just weird. Listen, I'm starting. Murray did return to practice today, so he should be okay. You're good there. You're starting Michael Carter over DeMarcado.
We'll be right back. Flip the ball.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
Are we going to sit here today and acknowledge that the Indianapolis Colts right now are the best team in the AFC?
They are right now.
They can run the football with Taylor. They got a competent quarterback, the way he's playing right now, in Daniel Jones. They are well coached.
They never punt.
They never punt.
They never punt.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
I told you Vladimir Guerrero would hit a home run. He hits a home run on his first pitch. 2-run shot, 2-0 Jays. And I gave you Suarez earlier. I'm telling you, Scott. Contreras last night, Story the other night. Bro, every night I've been hitting these home run props. And not the easy Ohtani ones at plus 190. These are plus 450s, baby.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Florida State put up 498 rushing yards on this defense. 8 rushing touchdowns, and they almost averaged 10 yards per carry.
Tough scene.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. It should be 60 to 7.
Yeah. Give me the 7.
I just gave you the 7.
Exactly. And
Are
miss
you
the
on
extra
this?
point. I'm thinking field goal and maybe a
But are
safety.
you on
Joe.
this? This is
Over
your best
3.5.
bet? Okay.
Didn't you read the screen?
I
What are you
can
not paying
barely
attention
read
to the show?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
All right. As much as I would love to preview every other game on the slate, my producer, Sam, is telling me that we've got to pivot over and take care of what we're supposed to here in this next 10-minute discussion, which is the future of the Washington Nationals minor league system. Gotcha. That's a show for March or for February. It's time now for us to ask some very big, burning questions in fantasy football. We call it buy or sell. Public service announcement. Don't listen to us. The last time we said Ashton Genty was done, finished, never going to be good again, he had 3 touchdowns in his best game of the season. So do the opposite of what we say here. Because last week, we all of a sudden said, oh, maybe it's legit, and then nothing again. Buy or sell? George, maybe they believe you. They're not going to believe me. Ashton Genty will be a RB1 this week for the Las Vegas Raiders. Will be RB1 the best running back overall, Sam? Really? That's the question? Oh, easy one. All right. Buy or sell?
Yeah, well, of course this is a sell. I mean, this is a sell without even thinking about it. It has nothing to do with it's just I'm always going to take the field. Right? You're always going to take the field here. What are the odds of him being running back 1? You know, do I think he'll be an RB1? Sure. He's playing Tennessee. He better be. But I have Genty in 2 leagues, all right? And he's I don't even look. He starts. That's because I don't have anybody else to, what am I going to put in? DiMarcano? Someone like that? I don't have anybody else that's going to go over him or that's better than him. So he's always going to start for me. But it's been a disappointment. The offensive line is bad. Geno Smith is not playing well at all. There's talk about every week now that he could lose his job. Hell, maybe they go out and get Russell Wilson, right? Reunite Carroll and Wilson. Probably not. But it's just, is he going to be running back 1 this week? Of course, probably not. I'm definitely going to sell that. But I think he'll be an RB1 this week. Could he be
not
top
the
5?
RB1, though. Yeah.
I think top 5 would have been a better question. I think he's got a shot at
I
top
wouldn't even
5.
do
It is
that.
Tennessee.
It is Tennessee. Do you believe the Raiders are 5-point favorites in an NFL game this week against Tennessee? I mean, everybody is going to take Tennessee. The Raiders may be the right play here. It's a screwy line this week. It's a sucker bet, I think. No. Ashton Genty's not going to be the RB1 overall. The guy has had 2 good weeks the whole season, barely. I can't do that. Sorry. Okay. So let's do AJ Brown. He's seems to be kind of upset with the way things are going. The Eagles will trade AJ Brown at some point this season, buy or sell.
This is what really annoys fans about certain players. Don't you care about winning? All right, he complained last year. He won a Super Bowl, right? He's reading books and he's blah blah blah. He's complaining this year too, and he was complaining while they were winning. Yeah. Of course they lost last night to the Giants there, but he had 6 catches, 80 yards, and then I think I heard him come out and say, "I don't remember having an offensive meeting with Hurts and Barkley," even though it was reported that they did have a meeting. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but if they did have a meeting and he's saying he doesn't, what is going on here? Do you really want to be traded? I mean, grass isn't always greener. They're not going to trade you to a good team, right? You're certainly not going to Detroit, or San Francisco. They're not going to trade you to anybody in their own conference that's good, that could compete with them. So just strange. Do I think he's going to be traded? No. They've come out and said he won't be traded, but that, who cares? That could just be to drive the price up if they really wanted to move him. So I'm going to sell this, but, if he really wants to be dealt, he can make life hard, keep complaining, keep doing this and that, embarrassing everybody, but really strange situation what's going on in Philadelphia. You won a Super Bowl, you'd think you'd be happy for a little bit.
I think that, I don't know, would they do this deal? I think Howie Roseman is not adverse to making deals, but George, wouldn't they have to acquire somebody like AJ Brown to make this kind of trade? I'm going to say sell. I think he's going to stick it out with the team. I think they're going to move him in the offseason. I think they're going to move him. But as I look around the league, and it's like the Jets are not going to trade Garrett Wilson, right? The Browns stink. They don't have anyone. Like, would Chris Olave be somebody that gets traded? But would he replace a guy like A.J. Brown? I don't think so. I'm going to say sell. Okay, Joe Flacco was traded this week from the Browns to the Bengals. Buy or sell? Joe Flacco will be a notable improvement for the Bengals offense.
Can we take out the word notable? I like it if we take out that one little word, notable. I think he'll be an improvement. What are we expecting here? They say he's a gazillion years old. He's a statue. It's not like he's going to move. The offensive line's bad. He's going to have to throw the ball in like 2 seconds. I said earlier in the show, that's why I think Chase Brown could have bigger value here because, hey, a lot of dump-offs here. He's not going to want to get hit. He's not going to wait for Chase Brown and T. Higgins to run complicated patterns that take 3.5 seconds here. He can't wait that long. Just not going to work. So I'm going to sell this because of the word notable. You took that out and just said improvement. Sure. Can't be any worse than Browning. All right, Browning was terrible here. But he's going to throw some picks as well, too, because he's not afraid. He doesn't care. I'll throw the ball. See what happens.
Yeah, no. So, do we agree on all three today? Did we agree just literally on all three of these today? I'm not buying this, Sam. I'm not buying it. Joe Flacco is not going to be the quarterback of the Bengals in 3 weeks. Sorry, I leaned in there. You caught me. Joe Flacco going into the season was one of my least favorite. I know that, look, people love the idea of the backup. They love the idea of Winston. But let me explain. By the way, I'm selling. Here's the Winston idea. The Bengals are not going anywhere without Joe Burrow. Joe Flacco is not going to do a better job winning games or preserving games than Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston is also not good. He's fun. He's not good. But he would give you a better chance to win at the end of the game than Joe Flacco because he could roll out, maybe he doesn't get sacked. He could also throw a pick, and then you could lose the game too. Give me Winston there. Buy or sell? The Cowboys have the currently most productive offense in football, George. Buy or sell?
I'll sell this as well. That might be the Rams for me. Cowboys are close, top 3, top 5, but I'll say the Rams might be the most productive. Stafford does have more yards throwing than Dak here. I certainly like Kyren Williams better. And without CeeDee Lamb, you got to like Nakua and Devontae Adams. Give me the Rams here.
Cowboys have been the most productive offense, Sam, in the NFL. Buy. Dak Prescott. He's been awesome. Play him in every fantasy league. Got to go against the grain.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
Are we going to sit here today and acknowledge that the Indianapolis Colts right now are the best team in the AFC?
They are right now.
They can run the football with Taylor. They got a competent quarterback, the way he's playing right now, in Daniel Jones. They are well coached.
They never punt.
They never punt.
They never punt.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
I told you Vladimir Guerrero would hit a home run. He hits a home run on his first pitch. 2-run shot, 2-0 Jays. And I gave you Suarez earlier. I'm telling you, Scott, Contreras last night, Story the other night, bro, every night I've been hitting these home run props. And not the easy Ohtani ones at old plus 190. Right. These are plus 450s, baby.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Florida State put up 498 rushing yards on this defense. 8 rushing touchdowns, and they almost averaged 10 yards per carry.
Tough scene.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. It should be 60 to 7.
Yeah. Give me the 7.
I just gave you the 7.
Exactly. And
Are
missed
you
the extra
on this?
point. I'm thinking field goal and maybe a
But are
safety.
you on
Joe.
this? This is
Over
your best
3.5.
bet? Okay.
Didn't you read the screen?
I
What are you not
could
paying
barely
attention
read
to the show?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
So you're saying there's a chance that I can make the fantasy football playoffs at 1-4. What kind of chances do I have? This is according to Yahoo Fantasy, who's wrong every week on whether or not I'm going to win or lose. They say that if you're 0-5, you're toast in fantasy football. Can you see that graphic, George? I know it's kind of hard to see. If you're 0-5, you have less than a 10% chance of getting in. But I got to say, I'm surprised 1-4 is 21%. 41% from there, and then obviously on up. But it seems to me, George, in fantasy football right now, as long as you're 1-4, you got a shot, right? Isn't that's until 0-5 you're done? I think that's fair.
I'm a little surprised that 1-4 is 21%. Now, part of that might be because I'm remembering figures from when it was a 16-game season, now 17, so you have an extra week. You know, generally we play 14 weeks now, not 13 in fantasy, so that could be part of it as well here. But it's good to know. You know, I don't think I have any 1-4 teams. I don't have any winless teams, so it's good. I do have at least two 2-3 teams there, so it's good to know. You should listen. You should always. This could be another complaint of mine. Whether you're in it or not, set your lineup. All right, if you're 0-5, set your lineup.
Everybody
right?
does that, I think, by now.
Yeah, so there's always a chance you could beat somebody. Just play it fair. I mean, what does it take you? 2 minutes to set a lineup here? Take out your bye week players, put
I think most people do.
I hope so, but doesn't. I play in leagues, with people. It's maybe not this week because it's still early. We're October, but you get November and they're 1-7. They know they're done. You don't hear from them anymore, and that's annoying.
Yeah, no, I think so. I mean, look, the reason why you have to set your lineup is because there is potential collusion going on if you don't. And that's the issue, is that you could, like, let's say George is right. You don't set your lineup 1 week, and then some other owner calls you the next week and says, hey, don't forget to set your lineup. I need you to beat this team. Oh, yeah, let me go ahead and set that lineup. That's the worst. George is 100% right. You got to keep it above board, keep it ethical, and try to win. But I'm not feeling terrible like I was last week. 21, and I needed Trevor Lawrence, by the way, to go crazy at the end of that game to win. How bad is that? I play against the Rico Dowdle I played against last week. I just can't get a break. Okay, as we wrap up the show today, George has a final thought, and so do I, before we send you off to a great weekend of football here on SportsGrid. Time now for the SportsGrid 60.
bye weeks, all right? We all hate the bye weeks in the NFL. They're sort of a necessary evil. And if and when they go to a 20-game season, we're going to have 2 bye weeks for every team. That's almost a lock there as well. I'll never understand, Craig, why they just don't do, all right, the entire NFC East is off this week. The next week it's the West. And, this 8 weeks, 4 teams off each one. It's fairer that way, right? The whole division gets that week off. I would also like to say this will never happen, but hey, in week 5, the NFC East has the entire NFC East has that week off. In week 6, they play each other. So no more complaining that one team had more time off than the other teams. It's just fairer that way. But don't kid yourself. The NFL does not care about fair. All right, they'll tell you they do, but they don't give a damn. It's all about money. That's whatever it is in the NFL, and we all know that. All right, so I just always found that interesting. If they cared about what's fair, then why does a team coming off a bye get to play a team that played on Monday Night Football? How does that make any sense? And that happens a couple of times each year. All right, so it's just, like I said, it doesn't matter. But I just wish they would do that. And like everybody else, I don't like the fact that come Sunday, there are 7 1 o'clock games and only 3 4 o'clock games. Can we at least make it 6 and 4?
I agree.
Right? Yeah, that bothers me as well. But as it's scheduling, we all complain about it. But I said the bye weeks have always been bugaboo. I don't understand why each division just can't have the same week off. Would make things more fair.
Great point by George. I don't know why that is the case. Maybe we should bring it up. Okay, so we have now gotten past the days of saying that I drafted a great fantasy football team. If you are sitting out there and you are 5-0 this season, maybe you drafted Emeka Egbuka. Okay. Maybe Rico Dowdle went off for you. Okay. If you are having a good fantasy football season, it is better to be lucky than it is to be good. And this is just a fact. The healthiest teams right now in fantasy have the best records. That's it. There's nothing left to say. And if you're on social media these days, this season in particular, I've seen less people celebrating their great picks than just sort of accepting this is what I have. Don't get me wrong. There's been a few good picks in fantasy. I mean, Jonathan Taylor probably should have been taken a lot higher. Yes, I mentioned Egbuka, Dak Prescott. But if you're healthy, you're winning. And if you're not, you're losing. That'll do it for the show today. Thanks again to our producer, Sam. For my co-host, George Kurtz, I'm Craig Mish. Good luck in your games this week. Go get a win.
Football contest.
If you're O'Connell, you have a serious decision to make. Again, he's been hurt now in back-to-back years, McCarthy.
Yeah.
You don't know what you have.
100%.
This is a similar situation to what the Niners did with Trey Lance. If the guy can't stay on the field, and again, limited, you have to do what's best for the organization.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Florida State put up 498 rushing yards on this defense, 8 rushing touchdowns, and they almost averaged 10 yards per carry.
Tough scene.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. It should be 60 to 7.
Yeah. Give me the 7.
I just gave you the 7.
Exactly. And
are
missed
you
the extra
on this?
point. I'm thinking field goal and maybe a
But
safety.
are you on
Joe.
this? This is
Over
your best
3.5.
bet? Okay.
Didn't you read the screen? What are you
I
not
could
paying
barely
attention
read
to the show?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I can tell you right now, Jamar Chase is getting moved on a lot of teams. And I understand why. I mean, you don't have Joe Burrow coming back this year. It's just not happening. And then Jake Browning has been less than impressive. There's no doubt about that. So Jamar Chase is still an extraordinary talent, and I think buying him low is interesting. Why? Because if you do look, the schedule does get a little bit easier. The defense is still bad. Jake Browning has been productive.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Basically a year's worth of starts at this point, because remember, Drake May was not the starter out of the gate during his rookie year last year. That was Jacoby Brissett. There have been some, encouraging performances and, I think some flashes of what could be upper echelon talent within the scope of the league. But going into this year, it was, we're going to find out.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.